Tēnā tātou katoa, good evening. Lots of talk out of Parliament today that the government could soon drop GST from fruit and veggies, making them 15% cheaper.
The National Party says it found out from a government leak. Whether that's true or not, the leaks voters will care most about are the ones they put in soup with potatoes. Here's political reporter Amelia Wade.
Chippy in the chocolate factory. The Trans-Tassie besties chugging hot chockies, a moment on the lips, forever on the hips, be damned.
So what would the sugar content in one of these be?
It's certainly not as healthy as fresh fruit and veggies, which Chris Hipkins is not ruling out making cheaper.
Are they good? I'm on a diet.
Are you?
Yeah.
Too many sausage rolls?
Too many sausage rolls.
Hipkins possibly giving the scoop away during a hot chip chat on Paddy Gower Has Issues last night.
Would you consider removing the GST on potatoes so chips could be more affordable?
I think more affordable chips would be a very good thing.
Today, again, refusing to rule out cutting GST off fresh produce.
I'm not announcing our tax policy today.
Chris Hipkins is set to soon announce a policy, a failed policy from the past of reducing the GST on fruit and vegetables.
National perhaps doing it for him.
They're not.
Finance Minister Grant Robertson has previously poured cold water all over taking GST off fresh food.
If it's low and middle income households, there are better ways of us delivering support to them, which is what we've done.
I understand that Finance Minister Grant Robertson has been rolled once again by the Prime Minister.
Economic experts hate it.
I think it would introduce complexity into our tax system that we don't need and wouldn't necessarily be effective at achieving what people think it will.
As I've indicated, I'm not going to comment on a hypothetical policy that I haven't announced.
Te Pāti Māori's very real policy goes further to cut GST off all, Kai.
That includes Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I don't know what's everyone's obsession with Coca-Cola. We've refused to get into the debate on how and who should be dictating to families how they should eat.
Part of its radical wealth redistribution pitch, promising an income tax-free threshold of $30,000, giving every New Zealand worker up to $72 back a week.
We must redistribute wealth back from the wealthiest to our working people now. Incremental is a total cop-out.
It would pay for that by increasing tax on earnings over 200k, increasing corporate taxes, land banking tax, a vacant house tax, a very, very big promise to end all tax evasion, and a wealth tax.
Wealth tax won't be introduced by a government that I lead and that the Labour Party is part of.
Ending poverty has to be a bottom line. It has to be.
Our bottom lines, if parties want to make wealth tax a bottom line for being part of a government or not being part of a government, then ultimately they'd need to find a governing partner that was willing to go along with that.
Hipkins ruling taxes out and in, probably hoping to watch the votes pour on in.
OK, Amelia, could this be a winning recipe for Labour?
Well, something like this does have the potential to be an election game changer. Policy wonks hate it because you have to define what is fresh produce. Is sweet corn in the fruit and veg aisle in? Is frozen corn in the freezer aisle out? This has even led to lawsuits overseas. And the government's own tax working group in 2018 found that taking GST off food benefited higher income households more because they spend more on food. But this is very popular policy. In our last Newshub Read research poll last year, we asked about taking GST off food, and a whopping 76.6% of people said that they wanted to see that. After its frankly shambolic year, Labour is starting to look as unappealing as Brussels sprouts. It needs that juicy policy, and something like this could mean that voters once again see it ripe for the picking.
Amelia Wade, live from Parliament. Thank you.